Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the All-American ARCA Series. Today, we're at the virtual Nashville Superspeedway for the Tennessee 225. It's going to be quite the night, 169 laps, 225 miles. Now, these drivers have an 85% fuel capacity in their car, and they've got 3 green-white checker attempts as well as 3 additional sets of tires. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James Eastbury, the Action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we get ready to send our drivers out for single car qualifying. And we are going to get this party started in style. As a reminder, it's only 43 drivers that will make it to the main event here today, and then a few drivers will have to go home. Now, we've got a couple drivers. This is their home track. Both Casey Carrington and Gus Moody is considered the home track for these drivers. As we watch Moody make his way out for qualifying here today. And it's going to be interesting to see. Now, last week we had a bit of a bloodbath, and the race actually timed out with drivers unable to make it to the end with how many cautions we had. A race that was scheduled to be about 50 minutes long ran for about 2 hours and actually hit the time limit. So let's see if the guys have problems today. Right now it's Christopher Heller sitting on top of pole in the number 11 machine. And Gus Moody is going to bring it down pit road. Let's see who else is on track. Brad Delph in the number 14 machine's out. But let's see where Carrington is. Carrington, number 9 machine, puts down his first time lap, qualifies 21st with a 30.8 on his opening lap. We've gotten 37-40 drivers qualified so far. But there's 46 drivers joined tonight. So I'm not terribly good at math, but that is definitely more than 43. So some guys will not make the cut here today. But who's it going to be as this goes on? As let's see if Carrington improves on that time here. And we're working hard to get that buffering issue fixed for all of you at home. Hopefully that gets corrected here shortly. Should clean out in the next couple minutes for everybody. Carrington ends his qualifying in 15th, the number 9 machine. Let's look and see who's on the bubble. Right now it's Bruce Pearson, the number 6 machine, as Carolus Thiel and Andrew Neri go out for their first time laps. They've got to be faster than a 31.24 here. Thiel is able to make the cut in 34th. Now it's DJ Weeks Jr. on the bubble. Let's see what Andrew Neri can do. He does it. He qualifies 41st. DJ Weeks goes out for another lap. He actually ends up on top of pole with a 35.6. So that is going to put Fred Anderson on the bubble, number 16 machine. So it's going to be Davis Warren, Bruce Pearson, and Gus Moody, who unfortunately will not make the main event here tonight at the All-American ARCA Tennessee 225. And I believe that will do it for qualifying. It's going to be DJ Weeks qualifies on pole with a 30.56. Heller second, Eckert third, McGronigle fourth, and Rogers our top five. Pearson and Moody will not make it to the main event here today. So on the left side of your screen, those are the three drivers who unfortunately will not make the cut here today. Absolutely heartbreaking for our three drivers. So this will be a very brief kind of consolation if they actually run any laps. They may be just straight going to the next session. It's hard to tell. The way iRacing's set up, if you have these qualifying sessions where you have a cutoff, it forces you into a warm-up. And then generally our race control driver, or race control here tonight, Joseph Penn. Looks like things may have settled down ever so slightly here at the broadcast. Let's take it through tonight's grid and see where your favorite driver is going to be at. Starting on pole, it's DJ Weeks Jr. Christopher Heller starting second. We've got Johnny Eckert starting third. Andrew McGronigle fourth on the grid. Zach Rogers starting fifth. Daniel Beauchamp starting sixth. Brad Delph starting seventh. Tate Lytle starting eighth. Zach Roethlisberger starting ninth. Eric Kepf starting 10th. Ashton Lawson starting 11th. Brandon Barkuski starting 12th. We've got Justin Ray starting 13th. Matthew Weeks starting 14th. Patrick Hernandez starting 15th. Casey Carrington starting 16th. Elliot Henderson 17th on the grid. Michael Vandermeet starting 18th. Derek Cook starting 19th. John Friedler starting 20th. Brett Tucker starting 21st. Alex Penn, the Road Racing Pro, starting 22nd. Andrew Neri starting 23rd. Lane Doyle will be 24th on the grid. We've got Finley Fitzsimmons starting 25th. Alex Harrington starting 26th. Stephen Rex starting 27th. Carol Steele starting 28th. Greg Martin starting 29th. Clay Cantrell starting 30th. David Westergreen starting 31st. Shane Gentry starting 32nd. James SoundCloud Silver starting 33rd. Tyler Watt starting 34th. Devin Scroggins starting 35th on the grid. Dylan Breton starting 36th. We've got Kyle Hall starting 37th. Jay Stinson starting 38th. Mark Proctor starting 39th. Tyler the Weapon Evans starting 40th. Ryan Dipple starting 41st. Nick Terrell starting 42nd. And then Fred Anderson and the number 16 machine will round out an absolute massive field here today for the Tennessee 225. Let's get ready to get things going here today. We've got Philip Penn tuning in today, cheering on world-famous Alex Penn before his birthday tomorrow. Well done. It's good seeing the Penn family here with all their support, and happy birthday to we affectionately call Baby Penn here at the All-American ARCA Series. As let's get ready to get things going. It is going to be DJ Weeks Jr. and Christopher Heller up front. Now what's going to happen here today is last week was an absolute bloodbath for all competitors, race control and broadcaster alike. And away they go for the first of 169 laps here. So far, so good from our competitors. Not seeing any big worries or issues here yet. It's still DJ Weeks Jr., but here comes Christopher Heller, the number 11 machine, trying to get by the number 97. Meanwhile, right behind these two, you've got Johnny Eckert, as well as Zach Rogers, the number 57 machine. So far, they made it 2 laps. The top 4 or 5 drivers all single file, kicking off laps here. Estimated fuel window is about 60 to 62 laps if we do get that long green flag run. It'll be interesting to see if that is going to happen here today, or if it will be a pipe dream for our competitors. Christopher Heller with the fastest lap of the race at 30.72. We're going to cycle it back to 6th place Brad Delph, who's in the mix here with Andrew McGronigal, Tate Lytle, Daniel Beauchamp, all running here strong together. So it looks like 2 different packs are really forming up here. You got your top 4, I believe, of Heller, Weeks, Eckert, Rogers, and then you've got this massive second pack of drivers with McGronigal, Lytle, Beauchamp, Lawson, Roethlisberger, Barkuski, Kepf, Weeks. That is a lot of fast drivers all running together here. Man, the internet is still killing me here today. One of the few times we've had our own technical difficulties here at the All-American ARCA Series. I think we're running a whopping 30 frames a second instead of our usual 60, so something has gone pretty terrible up here. We're about to start checking fittings, making sure all the Ethernet cables are plugged in, no mice have chewed on anything. I believe it's just probably some of the joys of being out here in rural country Georgia in the broadcast booth for Team Goon Squad. As we're still watching Delph, number 14 machine, riding in tow with McGronigal. It's going to be interesting to see if this is the circuit that actually has a couple of green flag runs. The concrete surface a little bit slippery in these machines. And as you all know, these All-American ARCA cars put down such high horsepower and low downforce. It's very easy to light up the rear tires and get it spinning around. We're going to cycle a little bit further back in the field. Check on Eric Kepf, the number 35 machine. Kepf down 2 spots from where he started, but keeping it nice and clean there. We've got Victoria Harper giving her feedback as well on the broadcast, saying things are getting a little bit better for our viewers at home. We've got Philip Penn asking for an over-under on cautions, better or worse than Dover. I think it's going to be tough to ever top Dover unless we go to a short track again. I've never seen a race that actually timed out with the competitors running out of time with the cautions we received at Dover. So I'm going to go on the over at Dover. under from Dover, excuse me. We got our good friend Jason Gardner tuning in, supporting the broadcast as well. He's got some of the guys he normally races with out here today in the All-American ARCA Series. Now, if you didn't tune in last week at Dover, we had 13 cautions, so that is going to be the over-under for today. As we'll get that poll up in the chat for our viewers at home. Yeah, the Jason Garner said he's never raced this track despite having it. It's one of those tracks that's not super technical or particularly wild to drive on, but the concrete surface can be a little bit exciting, a little bit different than the usual asphalt tarmac that our competitors are on. As let's see if any other big moves have been made here today. We go back to P35. Craig Martin and Tyler Watts are going side by side. Martin is down 6 spots from where he started. Watts is down 2 spots. But after what we've seen in the weeks prior with a lot of drivers wadding up their machinery early and then being sent back to the hauler, some of the guys are going to play it a little bit safer today and maybe wait for some other drivers to wad those machines up and then get back out there and maybe try and battle for position when the field's a little bit smaller. Again, last week at Dover, we had 13 cautions. We lost a lot of great drivers throughout those runs. As there is great racing all across the track here. Everybody doing a good job keeping it relatively clean so far. I'm wondering if race control may have talked to these drivers coming into tonight. We're going to pan back up front where it's still Christopher Heller out front. He's got about a 0.6 second advantage over second place DJ Weeks Jr. and jumping Johnny Ecker. Zach Rogers also in the mix in this lead pack. If we go back to 5th place, it's Tate Lytle. No, excuse me, 4th place, Zach Rogers. He's kind of in no man's land just ever so slightly. He's about 0.3 seconds back from Eckert and about 1.15 ahead of Tate Lytle. And Lytle is leading the second pack of drivers around the track. Tim Oster tuning in, cheering on the number 94 machine, cheering all the way from Oahu. Very cool. I think that might be the furthest distance viewer we have of the night. We've got Patty Heller. She's always cheering on the boys over at 2511 Racing. A bunch of great youths over on that team. As let's check further in the field and see where some action may be. Dylan Breton may have had a moment as he shows that he came into pit lane. We're going to go back to 20th, check on Alex Harrington, number 85 machine. He's going to be side by side with, I believe, Lane Doyle. And just behind Alex Penn and the number 30. And oh, it's going to get tight up here for the battle for 19th in the top 20. It's Lane Doyle, Alex Penn, Alex Harrington, Justin Ray all in the mix here. 20 laps into the run, drivers starting to get a little bit impatient or maybe trying to make some moves as the tire wear comes in. Victoria Harper, she's cheering on Andrew McGraw, the number 94 machine, as well as Tim Oster. Now, at what point in this run are drivers going to try and make any moves before our first scheduled green flag stop of the day? We're expecting these guys to come in around lap 60 to 65. But how long are they going to stretch it out for, and then how long can they go before these cars really start to tighten up? As you were watching Matthew Weeks in the number 2 machine, he is up 1 spot from where he started tonight. Currently running 13th on track, just ahead of Patrick Hernandez and Michael Vandermeed. As we do have our first caution of the night come out. Let's see, it shows us Shane Gentry. Let's see what happened to the bright pink number 26 machine. He's next to the number 8. No, what happens? Oh, he gets hit by Watts, I think, in the 03 machine. We're going to back that up, take another look at it. And see if we can get another angle here, see what happened. Looks like Watts tried to go down low and just got into the quarter panel, the number 26 Shane Gentry, and sent him sliding around. And that will bring out our first caution of the night. As we're taking a look at the router settings, the race control saying the EOL will be assigned to Tyler Watts in the 03, being found at fault with his collision with Shane Gentry. Excuse me for the coughing. Still struggling with this about a month later now. It is kicking my rear end. So far, I mean, that was a pretty good run as all things considered. As far as cautions go, we've had worse luck in the past between our competition. So maybe things will go just a little bit better for our drivers than what they have been in the past. Hopefully so anyways. As no one wants to watch a good old eye-pacing event is what we jokingly call it here in the broadcast biz, when it ends up being more of a crash fest than it is a race. As we get ready to send them back out once more. And the green flag flies once more here at Tennessee. Up front, it is still going to be Heller and Weeks running side by side. Heller's got a pretty good gap built up already, getting on the throttle as quickly as he possibly can. As we are doing everything in our power to try and get that buffering issue under control here today. It's been a rough night up in the broadcast booth. It is pretty much the Dover of broadcasting is how tonight is going for us. If we get another caution, we may try restarting our router here in the booth and see what may happen. Heller looking good up front. DJ Weeks in tow. You go a little bit further back, it's going to be Eckert who is side by side with Tate Lytle. And the second caution comes out. Let's see where it's from. It's going to be, it's going to be a big one. This will call for a slightly slower angle. It shows Vandermeed, Silvers, Weeks, Lawson. We're watching Vandermeed in the number 7 machine, so it's going to happen in front of him, I'm assuming, where people are going to start stacking up. And yes, the number 34 goes for a ride, and it's going to collect everybody as they try and slam on the brakes. Penn gets pinched between Carrington and another driver. I'm not quite sure who it was, the number 34 machine involved in the initial incident. We're going to try and get an angle and see exactly who that may have been. That's going to be Ashton Lawson, I believe. So watch Lawson in the number 34 machine and see what happens. Not sure if he gets loose. No, he gets absolutely run over by the 14 machine and then gets pinballed right in front of traffic, and they're going to go careening around. Not quite as bad as Dover, but still pretty bad. And I take it back. It's just as bad as Dover. As what are they doing? Are they not seeing the crash? Alex Penn gets flipped over after getting hit by the majority of the field. We're going to watch that one once more and focus the camera on Alex Penn, number 30 machine. Penn just gets run over from absolutely everybody. So they see the smoke. They start checking up. Penn gets pinched. Drivers are still, there's no call for that. Alex Penn ends up on top of Carrington, I believe. You don't see that every day. Rolls down the hood of Carrington's car and somehow gets it going. I guarantee you that's going to be the thumbnail of the week for Radioactive right there. That'll be our second caution of the night. I'm going to mute my mic for a quick second, see if I can figure out a router setting to try and get this corrected. So bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. As we get back out on track and live, it's Christopher Heller out front, Roger second, DJ Weeks Jr. third. Then you have Lytle and Ecker rounding our top five. We've had several drivers have to go back to the hauler early with extensive damage. Now again, these drivers do not have a fast repair or a get out of jail free card available to them. So if you find yourself with a wadded up machine, that is it for the night unless you can have your crew hammer it back into place. As it is about 8 drivers running nose to tail in this lead lap. Zach Roethlisberger, number 23 machine, is at the tail end of this lead pack, and he's about 0.8 of a second ahead of Alex Harrington, number 85 machine. Harrington trying to catch the draft of the lead pack to try and get their way back up here. Let's see how long these drivers can keep a few strings of laps going for. As you got guys in packs everywhere. There's Nick Terrell in the number 81 machine trying to get around the number 99 of John Creedler. Terrell looks to the inside line, trying to stay with, I believe that's going to be Hernandez and the 19 machine, as well as Eric Kemp, the number 35 machine. Creedler goes back behind Terrell. Is he going to take a look at the inside line? No, not quite yet. Going to play it safe and not try and risk it too much here in the start of this run. Things seem to be going relatively well for our drivers. Now, I'd imagine after the very rough race they had at Dover last week, they may have been instructed to maybe take it a little bit easier and try their best to avoid those cautions. Because the racers don't like it, the fans don't like it, and I guarantee you race control is not a fan of it either. I think Lytle got kind of glued to the outside wall of the number 56 machine. That's going to allow Eckert to make his way by the number 90. Eckert moving up to fourth tight. Lytle now in fifth. Hopefully Lytle doesn't have too much damage on the right side of that number 56 machine. And we do have that poll up right now. 67% of our viewers are saying we're going to have under 13 cautions here at Tennessee. That was directly compared to what we had last week at Dover before we ran out of time. Now, for those that tune in each and every week, you'll remember that the original wager was about 15 cautions. And tonight, so far, seems to be going a little bit better. As Eckert and Lytle still side by side. The number 37 of Elliott Henderson has used that big old air cushion to make his way up here and possibly get in contention as well. He wants to get inside the top 5, and he's got Lytle and Eckert and Lytle punching a big old hole through the air. And now up front, we're going to have even more side-by-side action, as now it's Heller and Rogers going side-by-side. The number 57 of Rogers on the inside line, Heller in the bright pink number 11 on the high groove. Justin Ray leaves pit road after 10 minutes of damage. And just like that, another caution will come out. Scroggins shows involved. Scroggins, number 66 machine, gets bounced across track. Watts, nowhere to go, gets collected as the field stacks up behind him. So who caused that initial incident with Scroggins? Is that on Scroggins? Or is that on number 17 machine? It's tough to tell. Let's see if Scroggins may have came down. Was that Silver's the number 17 machine? I'm not sure if he's still running the 17. We're going to take a look at live timing and see who. Yes, that's James Silver's in the 17. Let's pull up the chopper cam and have a look-see. So watch Scroggins on the inside of your screen. He's in the 66. Silver's on the low line. Does Silver's come up or does Scroggins come down? That's a tough one to call. I would want to be race control in that position. And then Scroggins gets bounced around. Tyler Watts in the Team Goon Squad back 0-3 machine. Nowhere to go. Tries to check up and then gets into the left side door. But look at this. Behind him, they're going to start crashing again. As I believe I saw the number 93 of, I think that's Westergreen, going for a ride. Yes, it is. And the field will scatter around them. And that will bring in a large portion of the field into pit row. It looks like it's going to be McGronigle opts to stay out. He hasn't come in since lap 23 is what live timing and scoring is currently showing. This will show as our third caution of the night. A large portion of the field coming in on lap 48. McGronigle, Vandermeed, and Fitzsimmons opt to stay out here. That's going to be an interesting gamble to see how this goes. We got Spino Racing cheering on Jay Stinson here today, saying the spotter stand is pretty empty. So let's see what McGronigle and Vandermeed can do on the front row, as well as Fitzsimmons on the second row. All three of these drivers on fairly old tires at this point. What's going to happen as we send them back out for the Tennessee 225? And here we go, McGronigle out front, but let's keep an eye on Fitzsimmons and Vandermeed. Fitzsimmons in the 06, Vandermeed in the 7. They're about to get split up the middle by, I believe that's Zach Rogers, taking it 3 wide on the restart. Rogers coming out with a fresh set of tires and trying the gutsy move to get some positions early, either before a caution comes out or the caution is caused by all the 3 wide craziness. Hernandez goes off track and was able to hold on to it. Rogers has come through the field, but that back end is breaking free. As now here comes Eckert as well, the number 90 machine, as he is getting slightly slowed up by drivers on an older set of tires. As we're still watching Rogers make his way by, trying to get by Andrew McGronigle. McGronigle has not come in since lap 23. Rogers, one of the drivers that came in on lap 48, took 4 fresh tires and a full tank of gas to really stretch it out. We got Francie Freeland. She's cheering on the number 94 machine here today, supporting her friends and family. That would be the number 94 of Andrew McGronigle, who's holding on for dear life as Rogers and Eckert have made their way by, as well as Christopher Heller looking for a way through, but McGronigle trying to hold on to it as he's on 25 lap older tires than the lead pack here. Ooh, Heller's looking for a way through. It's going to be tight. Heller on the inside of McGronigle. McGronigle with a bit of a shimmy coming out. Tate Light on the 56 also charging up through the field with fresh tires. And up front, Eckert will challenge Zach Rogers for the race lead as they go side by side. These guys are battling very, very hard here today. Rogers trying to work the side draft on Eckert, keeping the number 90 glued to the inside line, maybe forcing him to burn up a little bit more tires. Now, tonight's definitely going better than Dover did as far as cautions, but that kind of happened at Dover too, where we had a couple of early cautions, a little bit of a green flag run, and then just absolute destruction in the closing moments. Hopefully, we can get a good race going as Eckert and Rogers have been battling hard up front. And here's where all the madness is, right inside the top 10. You're watching Aaron Kemp in the number 35, right behind Vandermeet in the 7. Vandermeet almost avoids getting into Barkuski. And you've also got Finley Fitzsimmons in the mix, who's definitely on a lot older set of tires than some of these drivers. So a lot of the guys will have the pace to try and get through. But with how tight and narrow this track is, if you make one single bobble and try and press the issue too early, you can really wreck some machinery here. It's getting a little bit close here. We're going to slide on that camera back to, I believe that was the number 23 machine of Roethlisberger, who was side by side with Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons kind of getting shuffled down the running order, going for a bit of a gamble. He stayed out on that last stop. He came in a lap 30, and it appears he may have taken tires or served a penalty. It's tough to tell with how long that pit box was, as he will rapidly fall down the running order. He was at the very front, and now Fitzsimmons has fallen back to 14th. Eckert comfortably out front by about 8/10. Behind him, Christopher Heller will lead a second pack of drivers, consisting of Heller, Lytle, and Rogers, running 2, 3, 4. And then we go back to this wild battle for, I believe it is 12th, as Vandermeet and Brad Delph keep going side by side. In front of them it is Roethlisberger and, I believe, Kemp. Silvers, who I think is a lap down here, trying to hold the outside line to avoid getting run over, and just not a lot of real estate here in Nashville. But it looks like everybody was to get through nice and clean, no big problems. Let's look back a couple more spots. I believe that's Clay Cantrell, Kyle Hall, and Alex Harrington trying to get through traffic as well. So you've got a lot of things happening out on the racetrack. You've got drivers that are laps down, drivers on different tire strategies, and drivers with just different ability. And that can make for some white knuckle moments as everybody tries to get through. Tucker and Barkuski battling hard for the 8th place spot. Here comes Barkuski up the inside line against Tucker. This is the battle for 8th on your screen right now. Barkuski on the inside, Tucker on the outside. and now they've got Andrew McGroggle, number 94 machine. Seem to have checked up there. Not sure if McGroggle had problems or if he's maybe trying to get a pit started as Barkuski almost gets into McGroggle. Tucker was able to navigate traffic a little bit cleaner. Not sure what's going on with McGroggle, if he's having some sort of problem or maybe looking to pit, as McGroggle has not come in since lap 23. It may be that the car has just tightened up so badly for the 94 machine. He's not necessarily checking up, he's just having to back up his markers that much more going into the corners. And it almost looks like he's going to get run over by his competition. So McGroggle, with the older set of tires, will fall back to about 10th place, down 6 spots from where he started. Now, not all is lost yet, as there is a very good chance we'll have at least 1, if not 10 more cautions before the night is over. So he may be able to get back on the same tire strategy, get back out there. Up front, Christopher Heller has whittled away at the gap of Johnny Eckert ever so slightly. Eckert, your race leader, is about a half second ahead of the bright pink number 11. Now, I think, yes, everybody inside the top 11 all came in on lap 48. Everyone took 4 fresh Goodyears, a full tank of gas. So everyone is on almost identical tire wear right now, so they should be able to put down similar lap times. The big question is, who's going to be the best at tire saving if we do get those long green flag runs? Now, in the past, these guys have been running pretty much short stint races, 10, 15, maybe 20 laps at a time, and the tire wear really hasn't become a factor. But as the season progresses, the racing historically usually cleans up, and then all of a sudden you'll find guys going 40, 50, 60 laps instead on a set of tires that haven't historically done that. Now Eckert will quickly be approaching lap traffic as the number 5 of Steven Rex dives down pit lane, not trying to get in the way of the leaders here today. So right now your current running order is Eckert, Heller, Lytle, Rogers, Weeks, rounding out our top 5 here at the Tennessee 225. Not quite at the halfway mark of tonight's race. Expecting the next stop for these drivers if we go green, and boy is that always an F. Should be around the lap 110 to 115 mark for the lead pack. Andrew McGroggle, number 94 machine, one of the few drivers inside the top 15 that did not come in on lap 48. He may have been banking on another caution here, but so far he's been out on that set of tires for 52 laps so far. So he will absolutely be feeling the tightness in the car, especially at this stage in the run. As we go a little bit further back in the field, Brandon Barkuski is once again caught up to Rhett Tucker's number 91 machine. Barkuski is up 4 spots Tucker is up 14 spots. But let's talk about our current hard charger. It's going to be Kyle Hall in the number 87 machine. Hall is up 24 spots so far here today at the Tennessee 225. Doing an absolute fantastic job, as now he will be behind McGronigal with the much older tire sets. McGronigal, he's on 25 lap older tires than Hall, and Hall has already done about 30 laps on his set of tires. DJ Weeks trying to get around Christopher Heller in the number 11 machine. But again, everybody inside this top, I believe it's top 12, all 13 now, as Alex Harrington makes his way around McGronigal, all on the same strategy. Now, McGronigal, if he commits to this pit cycle, he's going to come in around lap 88, I believe. So he's got to try and survive 10 more laps on that old set of tires. But then he should be able to make a large portion of the race, be able to stretch his run out to around lap 140 or so, barring any caution. So it's going to be interesting to see how the pit strategy develops tonight. We got April Post. She's cheering on Rhett Tucker in the number 91 machine, I believe. Tucker, yes, currently running 8th on track, still ahead of Roethlisberger. He did yield a position to Barkowski. Barkowski moves up to 7th. But the guys seem to be getting through this run relatively well so far. We're going to go back up front to your race leader, jumping Johnny Eckert. He's got about a .35 advantage over Tate Lytle in the 56. So right now it's Eckert, Lytle, Rogers kind of in no man's land. They've got about 1.2 second advantage over 4th place DJ Weeks Jr., who seems to be just kind of cruising around here, which is a pretty good place to be in if you ask me. Eckert's last time by a 31.74, his fastest of the race, a 30.82. So at this stage in his run, not quite 40 laps on that set of tires. He's about 1 second off the pace out front, but most importantly, he's got clean air. And as the cars tighten up, that's probably one of the things the racers talk the most about, is being able to be out front, have that clean air on the nose of the car, and the run's a little bit looser. As we are approaching the halfway mark of the day, we'll pull up the live timing and scoring tower on the left side of your screen so you can see where your favorite driver is, wherever they may be at on this circuit. As we check out another battle of Zach Roethlisberger, Rhett Tucker, Brad Delph. Roethlisberger 10th, Tucker 9th, Delph 8th, all running nose to tail here. Roethlisberger looks up the inside of Tucker, not quite able to make it stick. Roethlisberger looking for a way. He's currently 10th, trying to squeeze out a 9th. But the cars have got to be tight at this point, so he's looking for any way through he possibly can. Shane Gentry rolls out of pit lane for one of his scheduled stops. And it seems the guys have calmed down ever so slightly. Hopefully the old commentator's curse doesn't bite us on that one. As we are officially past the halfway mark tonight of the Tennessee 225. Gotta say, so far it's been a little bit cleaner than Dover. Dover, I want to say it was around 200 laps. We made it around lap 70 before things really unraveled for our competitors. And look at that, Roethlisberger finally able to make the move on Tucker that he's been setting up for a couple laps. Tucker not going to give him any space, gets right on the bumper of the number 23 machine. These ARCA cars do not lend themselves well to bump drafting or any sort of contact. The rear bumpers are actually higher than the front bumper on the cars. So if you come up to a competitor and give them a hearty shove, it actually lifts up the rear end of your competitor's car and can send them careening around. Daniel Beauchamp completes his pit cycle. I believe he's going to be about 3 laps down here today. As now Eric Kemp is going to try and make a move on Tucker, as well as Kyle Hall in the number 87 machine. I'm wondering if Tucker may have burnt up those Goodyears a little bit prematurely on this run, pushing hard up towards the front. And that's going to allow guys such as Roethlisberger, such as Kemp, and possibly Hall to make their way by. But Tucker is going to make them work for every inch of ground they try and take, as he's making that number 91 machine fairly wide. That is Daniel Beauchamp in the 451. He's a lap down, coming out with fresh tires, making his way around Hall and Tucker. Beauchamp coming out of pit road on lap 85. He will be able to stretch it out to about lap 150, barring any cautions. And that's where things get really exciting for all parties involved. Again, those guys coming out of pit road with a fresh set are able to put on some blistering fast lap times. We're going to cycle the camera back up to second place. Tay Lytle in the 56 machine, getting chased by Zach Rogers in the 57. Eckert has extended his lead to about let's call it 3/4 of a second over the second and third place drivers. Let's see what other good points of interest we have out on track. Here's a good one. Kyle Hall going side by side with Tucker once more. Meanwhile, you've got Eric Kemp and Clay Cantrell also looking for a way through. Carrington lags slightly behind in 14th place, watching this 2-wide, 2-row deep battle unfold in front of them. Now, part of what is going to win some of these guys championships or top 10 finishes is kind of knowing what's going on in front of you. And if it looks a little bit too exciting to your liking, back out of it, live to fight another day, and then get back up in there later on. As we've seen, the crash avoidance skills tonight have not quite been the best. We've seen several drivers get collected, pile into each other. As now Hall will go side by side with Cantrell, the number 8 machine. Eric Kemp in the number 35 also looking for a way through. Tucker has been driving defensively, and it seems to be working well for the number 91 machine as he holds on to that 10th place spot. And all that for naught as Tucker will come down pit road on lap 96. Now we're expecting Eckert to stay out until that ARCA car is running bone dry on fuel. He's got a lead. He does not want to find himself a lap down with a green flag pit stop, on a green flag pit stop if a caution does come out. So I think right now you're only going to see drivers coming down pit road if they absolutely have to, if that thing is sputtering on fuel. As the number 2 of Matthew Weeks will rejoin the circuit ahead of the race leader, Eckert. Eckert won't have to try and get around him as Weeks again with that fresh set of tires should come out of pit road and put down some screaming fast lap times. Now speaking of lap times, Eckert is about 1.2 seconds off his fastest lap of the race. So I'm not sure exactly what's that a testament to. If maybe Eckert's been playing the tire saving game all night long, or maybe not feeling it as much as he would expect this late into a tire run. He's 50 laps in on this set of tires. As now Eckert will catch, I believe that's going to be Devin Scroggins, number 66 Yoo-Hoo backed car. Fairly certain that is the case. Now Scroggins is also on that lap 48 pit strategy. Same as your race leader Eckert, so they are all on the same tire set. But this is where things are going to get really dicey for Eckert as he's going to have to cut through traffic and be very mindful of what traffic is doing, not wanting to collect that number 90 machine. Oh, right as we say that, somebody gets very tight, almost hits the outside wall. That was Fred Anderson, number 16 machine. So Eckert will get by both Anderson and Scroggins free and without damage, but this is the white knuckledness we were talking about early on. Now Eckert has 2 wins so far this season. He's got a bit of a winning streak going. He won at Dover, he won at Chicagoland, and at the season opener at Daytona, quite a rough night as he finished 12th, but he's coming back and doing so strongly as he is still second in points, 7 points back from Tate Lytle. So Eckert, with about 67 laps left to go, is really wanting to make it 3 wide, or excuse me, not 3 wide, 3 in a row and go for the hat trick early on in the season. But I'm going to be curious to see how long this green flag runs for. Are we going to see our lap 48 competitors able to complete a green flag pit stop? As I'm imagining that I think a lot of the drivers maybe might not be used to how many laps to run on a set of tires in a green flag run. Eckert still doing a good job out front. Let's check on Zach Rogers, who seems to be putting the pressure on Lytle. But the caution will come out once more, and oh no, it shows Brandon Barkuski involved this time. Barkuski, the number 25 machine. Let's see what happens here. Just gets absolutely ran over by the number 20. Absolutely no chance that was ever going to work. That was... We're going to take another look on board. Let's back that one up and see what happened to get Dip on the inside of Barkuski. Maybe he'd go higher, but just sent Barkuski careening around. And let's see what caution we are on here today. That will be our 4th caution of the night, pretty far into tonight. Hopefully this isn't a repeat of Dover, because this is kind of what happened last week. We had some long green flag runs and then carnage. So the drivers that came in lap 48 are going to come in a few laps earlier than their scheduled stop, but they are absolutely not going to stay out on those old tires, as they made it over 50 laps on a set. I believe closer to 60 laps on a set of tires here today. Yeah, 60 laps. We're going to get him gridded back up here. Try and get him pointed back in the right direction. So now it will be Eckert and Lytle still on the front row. It looks like everyone came in on lap 106. Not seeing many drivers that opted to stay out here. And it appears we still have 25, 26, maybe 20. No, we've got 30 drivers still in the lead lap after the 43 that made the main event. Not too shabby here. Pace car is in. It's Lytle and Eckert on the front row for the restart. 60 laps left to go for our competitors. As it looks like DJ Weeks is going to go for an early launch as well to try and get around Lytle. Lytle will answer as they dive into the inside line of turn 1. Zach Rogers at 57 as well as Elliott Henderson at 37 looking for a way through. As now Weeks looks to the inside line. That will prevent Rogers from making the move that he was trying to set up here. But Rogers will try and work the outside groove as well, trying to make up some ground wherever he can find it. As, they're going side by side for third place. That's DJ Weeks Jr. and Zach Rogers battling hard for that third place spot. Weeks in the inside, Rogers in the outside. And another caution to upset the flow of racing. It shows Tucker involved. Let's see who else may be involved here. Tucker in the number 91 machine. The inside line stacks up. He gets in the back of Fitzsimmons. Trying to watch that from maybe a chopper cam and see what might have happened. So the inside line checks up. Tucker nowhere to go, gets in the back of Fitzsimmons and goes careening around. Thankfully not too terrible of a crash for either driver. They'll have a little bit of bodywork damage, but nothing race ending at this point. This will be, I believe, the 5th caution of the day. We're going to check there on the left side of your screen. And yes, 5 is the number we're at so far. So still well under 13 cautions. 54% of our viewers voted on the under here today. As we're going to get everybody gridded up once more, as we will have our 6th restart of the night, or 5th restart, excuse me. A lot of drivers having a very rough night here today. Again, still 31 drivers on the lead lap. And I believe we've got maybe 2 racers that have retired. Dylan Breton and Ashton Lawson appear to have retired early. Ryan Dipple, Fred Anderson in pit road. Craig Martin also in pit road. As we get ready to grid them up double file and send them back out there. Now I believe these guys are going to have about 45 minutes left to complete the remaining 53 laps here tonight. So hopefully we don't run into a repeat situation that we had at Dover where our racers actually timed out for the evening. And we're going to go check as well and see what the hard time limit is here today. As we get ready to send them out once more here at the Tennessee 225, it's going to be Eckert and Lytle on the front row, Weeks and Rogers your second row, Henderson and Heller your third row here today. Pace car is in, and then we're going to send them out. Still a ton of drivers out here trying to do battle at Nashville Superspeedway. Eckert gets a great sludge. Lytle tries to get in front of DJ Weeks Jr., secures second place. And then it is DJ Weeks Jr. and Zach Rogers, and then finally Elliott Henderson rounding out our top five. And that is such a cool shot showing the scale of these ARCA events. How many drivers show up each and every Friday night with their fans and family across the world tuned in to support them. As we're going to have another caution getting things going. It shows Cook, Ray, Watts, Rex, Dipple all involved. This will be a good one. Danny Beauchamp involved. Beauchamp crashed so hard it should have been involved 3 different times. First, we're watching Derek Cook in the number 21. He's kind of in the middle of your screen right here. Just ahead of him, a Beauchamp, but who is that? Beauchamp gets into the 38, who had to check up hard. And then the field will go careening around. Silvers will get involved in that one. Tucker, Watts. The number 16 machine gets tagged. Oh, they're going to drop like flies out here. Let's watch that one from one more angle. Watching Derek Cook, the number 21 machine. So Beauchamp hit the number 38. Trying to get eyes on that lifetime and score and see who exactly that was. That was the 38 of Justin Ray gets hit. So Ray checks up to avoid getting to the back of field in the 01. Beauchamp gets into Ray, and they're going to stack them up. And ooh, was that Field that went for a wild ride? No, who was that? Somebody went absolutely flipping there. We got to back that up because somebody wadded their stuff up. Trying to find the angle. Or is that Beauchamp that went for a wild ride? That could have very well been Beauchamp. Watch the 451 here. I believe he goes flipping through the air. Yes, he goes flying, goes rolling across the track. Danny Beauchamp, the road racing professional, absolutely getting ragdoll in the 451 ARCA car. He will take a tow back to pit lane where he will have to rethink his life choices and maybe get over a bit of motion sickness. We may be worrying about that time limit once more. As our good friend Daniel Beauchamp tunes into the broadcast now that he's got his head pointing in the right direction, as he is no longer being absolutely yeeted through orbit. That's got to be the crash. I don't know, that's a tough one to call. Two different crashes tonight. You got Alex Penn parked on top of Carrington, and you got Beauchamp that barrel rolled it in a car not meant to be barrel rolled. To be fair, I guess, to our fans at home, I don't know many cars that are made to be barrel rolled, but let me have this one. It's been a long night. We're going to get them gridded up once more. As Watts makes his way, excuse me, out of the pit road. He will unfortunately not receive a lucky dog that go around since he tagged one of the cars with iRacing. If you're involved in any way in the incident that brings out a caution, you are ineligible for the lucky dog wave around. And that's part of the reason that makes crash avoidance so important here for the series. Because you can be 3, 4, 5 laps down at the beginning of the race, but if you keep your nose clean, don't get involved in any incidents, you can quickly find yourself back on the lead lap at the end of the night. As let's see what Eckert and Lytle can do on the front row. As the lap 118 incident will be caused as a racing incident, just not enough real estate for these drivers to go, so Beauchamp will not be faulted, but he will be sent back to the hauler early tonight with a absolutely mangled 451 machine. Green flag flies, Eckert gets a great launch once more. Weeks takes over second spot, Lytle still holding on to third, but he's got company from Zach Rogers on the inside line. 46 laps left to go for our competitors here at the Tennessee 225, or 40 minutes. Now with on average about 30-second lap times, these guys should be able to breeze through this nice and easy, no worries at all, and get to the checkered under their own power. But if we start getting those strings of cautions once more, they're in for a rough night, and they may time out here again. So if they can go green, we should see about 23 minutes still left on the clock. But every time they have that crash, I believe the pace times are about a minute and a half each a lap. And that will quickly eat up the time of these competitors. I'd like to once again give a shout out to our race control tonight, Joseph Penn. The man is absolutely a legend up in the booth, and right as we talk about cautions and Joseph Penn, another one, as the great DJ Khaled once said. We're watching Weeks almost gets in, I believe, Vandermeer, the number 7, but no, it's the number 18 that gets spun around. That is Stinson involved in that one. Stinson, let's see if he got ran over by Watts in the 03. What happened? It doesn't look like he checked up aggressively. No, that was not Watts. I think that was Proctor got into the back of Stinson. And that'll collect a bunch of drivers once more. We got 40 laps left to go. or 35 minutes, whatever comes up first. And we're going to run a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more fast-paced action and a whole lot more big crashes here at the All-American ARCA Tennessee 225. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out. And we are back as we are still eye-pacing, trying to get everybody formed up. That will be our 7th caution of the day. And this might be close if they can complete 41 more laps before the 33-minute mark comes out. Now again, these lap times under yellow flag conditions are 1 minute and 25 seconds long compared to the normal 30 to 31 second lap times they've been doing under green flag conditions. As the pace car crosses the line, it'll be 40 laps left to go. That's our race control, Joseph Penn, in the spectators area. I think he stepped out for a second, maybe bought some trackside cheeseburgers and French fries, saying the race just is going very poorly from his point of view. Now, I guess the good news is not as many cautions as Dover yet. We're only 7 cautions in. Dover was 13 before. Again, the most important thing to note about that is Dover timed out. They were unable to complete the race because of how bad the driving was. And not necessarily how bad the driving was, but how many crashes we had throughout the night. Once again, though, it is Eckert and Lytle on the front row. They've been side by side throughout the duration of the event. Spino Racing gives us a pit side report from the spotter booth that there's 31 minutes left in this session. Jason Gardner's got us popcorn. Joseph Penn has the French fries. And we've got all the action at Team Goon Squad Broadcasting as All-American ARCA gets going once more at the Tennessee 225. Here comes DJ Weeks looking at the inside line of Tate Lytle. 39 laps remaining, or 31 minutes, whatever comes first. If we keep under eye-pacing conditions, these guys are not going to be happy, and I guarantee you, really nobody's going to be happy if they can't get this thing wrapped up before the trackside rental turns off. They turn off the lights, send all the drivers home, and the caution comes out once more. That'll be caution number 8, ladies and gentlemen. Caution number 8, the Ocho. Let's see, Nick Terrell. Well, that's an alternative line. Let's pull up Terrell's point of view when the caution came out and see maybe what happened. It's ahead of Terrell. That was the number 8 of Cantrell. Comes out of nowhere, absolutely murders Terrell. Terrell goes down pit road. Instead of sticking to the asphalt, the nice and safe option, the Doritos back, number 81 says, you know what, the grass is a much better idea, and rejoins the race surface. So that will bring out our 8th caution of the night. So if you're keeping track at home, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are. We have 37 laps. We've got 29 minutes. And we are all out of French fries. Daniel Beauchamp, the radical road racing extraordinaire, sums it up best and just says, oh dear. Aptly put, my friend. Now the general rule and expectations for these drivers, I know our commentators are kind of mentioning here, is to lock up the brakes if you find yourself in an incident. But it's so tough of a call to make when you have guys that historically ARCA brake, don't hear the call-outs on the radio and come piling in. It's almost safer sometimes for these guys to make that bad decision. Maybe do something a little bit risky. You might risk taking out one guy, but save yourself. So I'm not sure if that's what we're seeing here. Let's see what happens here in the closing laps of the Tennessee 225. See if we get to the closing laps. The number 8 will receive the EOL for the lap 130 incident for causing that incident. So I kind of lost track here. What caution are we on? Is this 8? Is this 9? This is caution number 8. I don't think we're going to get to caution 13 here today. I think we'll probably run out of time. With 35 laps left to go for a competition. The big question is time. Will we have enough time? We've got 25 minutes left. We would have to have a spattering of cautions pretty much every restart, I believe, to risk not being able to bring it home, as Tate Lytle still trying to hold on to second place. DJ Weeks Jr. is going to slide back into third and trying to fend from Zach Rogers in the number 57 machine. As it is Eckert, Lytle, Weeks, Rogers, Henderson, and oh no, another caution comes out. Let's see, Derek Cook shows involved in the number 21 machine. Yep, just absolutely punched Shane Gentry out of the way. And that'll be caution 9 here for the Tennessee 225. Now this is where it's going to get very interesting. 32 laps left. And possibly not enough time left. Let's check on live timing. We've got 23 minutes left in tonight's session. And we've got 30 laps left to go. Not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Not looking good at all. Jason Gardner saying that punt looked like it had a little emotion to it, maybe a little bit of a backstory. It'll be interesting to see what the call is on that. Well, it's going to be an easy call for race control. We just watched a man get removed from the racing surface. We've got Mason saying how much time is even left. Seems like there's still a solid 25 minutes left of green flag racing. We've got 22 minutes left in the session. And we've got 30 laps. So if these guys are turning about half-second lap times, we would need 15 minutes of uninterrupted green flag racing to make it till the end. So if we get 7 more minutes, if I'm doing my math right here, I think I am. I got the calculator, I got the notepad, everything's going here. For each lap remaining, they need half a minute. So as of right now, they need 15 minutes. We've got 21 left here tonight. So I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if you're tuning in here today, I believe if we have one more caution, we still may be okay. But if we have 2 more cautions, I believe this race will probably end under timing. Somebody will have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think if we have 1 more caution, it's looking good. We time out here. So I believe a caution takes about 3 minutes off the race, maybe a little bit longer. Caution lap is 1 minute and 25 seconds, so we'll call it 1.5 minutes. That's not good. So again, I don't think we're going to have the time to hit 13 cautions here today. Kind of the same story we ran into at Dover. Oh, the minutes are ticking off for the guys. Who's it gonna be? Eckert and Lytle can't get away from each other on the front row. The pace car will be in this time by for the closing 29 laps. Everybody should be doing great, if not fantastic, on fuel, as the iPacing has been out in force here today. Pace car is in. Here we go. The remaining 29 laps. If we have another caution, I'm fairly certain of this assessment now, we will not have enough time to make it to the main event. Up front, it's still Eckert and Lytle is slotted into seconds. We're watching Zach Rogers, DJ Weeks Jr. battle for that third place spot side by side. Elliott Henderson and Christopher Heller also watching this battle unfold, hoping we can keep it at least somewhat salvageable to the end of tonight's main event. And try and finish on our own accord. Nobody wants to see this get timed out the second week in a row. And I think we're about to crash again. Somebody was trying to get sideways. And yes, another caution comes out on lap 143. Let's see, we saw it start to unfold. I'm not quite sure what's live time and scoring doesn't actually show the incident. We saw a car start breaking free sideways. And I'm trying to get some sort of hint on what brought it out. But that is our 10th caution on lap 144. That's 25 laps remaining. I think we're going to time out, ladies and gentlemen. As somebody aggressively comes down pit road backwards, that's Tate Lytle on the 56. What happened to Tate? I'm very confused here. Tate Lytle, 56, has completely pulled over. Watching the number 56 machine, cuts it hard left, almost full wheel lock. I wonder if Lytle had a mechanical, as he is still parked at the end of pit road. All right, what a night of firsts, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try and get a good shot of Tate Lytle just absolutely parked on the exit to pit lane. Watching, waiting, commiserating. Tate Lytle, he must have had a mechanical. That's the only thing that makes sense. I am so incredibly perplexed by what we're seeing here today. As Lytle in the 56 still parked on the exit to pit road right outside the exit cones. He's got to get that thing going or he's going to get disqualified from the event. How long can he stay there for? I've got so many questions. Yeah, Lytle gets off the, there he goes, he gets going again. Lytle must have had some sort of disconnect or internet problem there. As Jason Gardner quickly pointed out, and I think accurately, must have been some sort of either hardware or connectivity issue, especially how that wheel locked hard to the left. Thankfully, no one else got collected when Lytle had that disconnect problem. But the field's already stacked up too wide, so now it's going to be Eckert and Rogers on the front row. 24 laps left to go, less than 14 minutes left. I am almost certain this is going to end with it before the time ends out. It's going to be very, very close. I'm showing about 2 extra minutes with 23 laps left to go. So that means about 11 and a half minutes of racing. We've got about 13 minutes left on the lobby. As we got reports from Tate Lytle's camp that his wheel broke, so we're going to get some effing chats for the number 56. As another caution. The hits just keep coming here at the Tennessee 225. 21 laps left to go. More and more bloodbath here. Shows Eric Kepf involved. Kepf in the number 35 machine. Oh, let's back that angle up because he gets run over, finished off, carried on. As it looked like they might have started crashing ahead of him. We're going to slow this one down. Kepf is on the outside, the middle, and the white. I thought Henderson, the number 37, might have stepped out a little sideways. Yes, he does. So I wonder if Kepf saw what was going on, maybe slowed up a little bit, and he gets demolished, driven through, finished off, and then absolutely collected, as I don't think the number 23 lifted there. Number 23, ARCA brakes full effect, takes out several other drivers. We're going to watch that one once more. And try and get a different angle. So we're going to go on board with the 23 during that crash. Lifted, but no brakes, and that's going to collect a whole lot of drivers. And look at the ARCA brakes. The guys see the crash happening. They're aware that people are spinning on the track, and yet they still hold it wide open, praying for a miracle. It's the 10th caution. 11th caution. There's no more miracles. We ran out of miracles on caution 3. These guys have got to do a little bit of self-awareness and try and get through tonight's event. The ARCA brakes and the lack of give, these guys are never going to finish a race at this point. So I take it back. At the beginning of the broadcast, I thought 13 cautions was unobtainable. But tonight, I think it's going to happen. And I think or we might time out before that happens. Still not quite sure which ones it's going to be. So that is our 11th caution of the night. We've got 10 minutes left in the session. These guys will have to start and go green all the way through if they want a chance of finishing the race. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to end under eye-pacing conditions once more. And once again, we gave some F's in chat for the disconnected wheel here tonight. Let's go and get some F's in chat for race control as well. Joe Penn working his heart out here today for the Tennessee 225, an absolutely thankless position, and glad we have him in the broadcast booth, the race control booth tonight. He always does a fantastic job. Yeah, Jason Garner saying he loves how people days of thunder through the crashes. If you're joining us tonight for the first time, that's kind of the same thing as ARCA breaks, where you see a crash, there's cars and wreckage everywhere, and you decide, you know what, holding it wide is probably the best option here. Pray to the racing gods and see where we end up at. Now, at these league races, generally people race here because it's cleaner than doing an official iRacing event. You race with the same people week in and week out. You got live race control. All these guys pay money to be here. They've got professional broadcasting, and sometimes me. But yet, they still just kind of do the same shenanigans and wonder why things never get better. We show 18 laps left to go as the green flag comes out. Looked like Eckert may have done some funny business there, but luckily it was his teammate DJ Weeks behind him. Be interesting to see what the calling is. Now these guys have a rule: you must maintain position before you get across the finish line, no matter what lane you're in. Right now it's Eckert, Weeks, Rogers, Henderson, Heller. We're all waiting here, fans across the row with bated breath to see when the caution's going to come out, if the caution's going to come out. Because again, they're going to have to run a flawless race to the finish line if we want to finish this thing without getting timed out for the second week in a row. As Zach Rogers and DJ Weeks going to go side by side for second. Oh, is there squirrely all across the track? We're going to keep the camera focused on this battle for the lead because it's better for my anxiety. Laps left to go. Will the racing gods be kind in the closing laps as we've only got 6 minutes left? They've got 14 laps left to go. I think we may end a lap short here. Yeah, if I'm looking at this right, we're going to be a one lap short. As it is still Eckert out front, Rogers second, Weeks third, Heller fourth, Carrington's made his way into fifth. Kyle Hall had a return to pit lane. I think Alex Penn got a squirrely moment. He might have a dive down pit road as well as he drops a few positions. Out front, Rogers is trying to catch Eckert before the inevitable caution comes out. or the lights are turned off here at Tennessee. Again, with iRacing, you can only rent the track in so many blocks of time, and they have it set for a 2-hour main event here today. Let's see if Rogers is going to have anything for Eckert. That last time by, they clicked off almost identical lap times. 4.5 minutes left in the session. Oh, this is going to be close to the end to see if drivers can finish it on their own accord. As Zach Rogers putting the pressure on Eckert. He knows there's no time left to hold back because any minute the caution can come out and that could possibly end the race. I've never seen a race get called by iRacing while it was under green flag conditions either. Rogers looks to the inside line against Eckert, gets back in the draft. Are we going to see him moving to turn 3? Yes, we are. Rogers on the inside forces him all the way. Eckert forces him all the way down right to the line. Not sure how much banking there is on that section of the racetrack. Rogers will try once more. I can guarantee if that happens again in the closing laps, that number 57 machine is not going to move out of the way. Now, we've seen Rogers set this up going into turn 3 once before. I think he's going to wait a lap, get some more momentum on Eckert, and then try and make it stick. But he's getting right on the rear bumper of that number 90 machine in the closing laps. It's going to be 8 laps left to go. And look at this. Rogers looks to the inside line. Will he have it into turn 1 and try and make a move as they go side by side into 1? Eckert has him by about 3/4 of a car length. Rogers trying to make his way up into the mix. It's going to be all about who's got the best drive coming out of turns 2. It looks like it's still Eckert by about a car. Eckert looks like he could have almost tagged the wall, so he's going to dive it down deep with the inside line as well. He now has about 2/10 over Rogers. Behind them, Weeks and Heller watching the show unfold as Rogers and Eckert are going at it here in the closing laps. It shows only 2.5 minutes left in the session. That is not enough time to let these guys run all the way out. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I'd imagine Eckert's going to protect that inside line like it's the end of the world. The other thing is Rogers going to burn up some tires trying to make those moves and take those jabs at Eckert? But they're still running almost identical lap times, less than 2/10 separate them. But at this point in the run, it takes so long to get that momentum back up, and now lap traffic may come into play. That is the last thing these race leaders want, as I believe that's going to be Cantrell, the number 8 machine. Does his best to ride the high line. 5 laps left to go, 1.5 minutes in the session still showing. Is this going to be one of the often sought after but rare as unicorn green flag runs that we've been talking about all night? Oh, here we go. Rogers trying to set it up. He's going to follow right in Eckert's draft. 4 laps left to go. The session shows 1 minute remaining. What's Rogers going to do here coming down the backstretch? He looks to the high line. Eckert's going to pinch him there, stall the momentum. Are we going to see Rogers use that front bumper and try and upset Eckert at all? As they're still nose to tail through 3 and 4. It'll be 3 to go as they cross the line. When's the white flag going to come out with the session about the timeout? I've got so many questions and not nearly enough answers. Session shows as 20 seconds remaining. Eckert and Rogers have checked out. They're a second ahead of third place DJ Weeks Jr. Lap traffic with Kyle Hall doing his best to yield the position to the race leaders. As Hall runs the inside line, That's going to force both Eckert and Rogers a little bit higher than they used to be. We are at the 2-hour mark with 2 laps left to go. Not quite sure how iRacing is going to handle this one. As they are battling hard, the checkered will come out early due to the timeout. And our racers will be shorted a lap here at Tennessee. Eckert will bring home the win. Rogers will get second, and then DJ Weeks Jr. will get third. The second week in a row, our drivers have been unable to complete an entire race distance due to the amount of cautions we've had here. As Eckert's going to burn it down in style on the number 90 machine, picking it up, a 3-in-a-row win. Well done. As he's going to line up next to the number 23. No, is he maybe going to look for Westergreen, number 93 machine, his teammate? Yes, he is. Going to take a nice photo, wave to the fans. And then Eckert will once again burn it down in style after a painfully long night for all of our competitors. And we're going to try and get our drivers up here into the waiting room. All right, awesome. We've got everybody up here with us. Up first, we're going to get third place, DJ Weeks Jr., bringing it home after quite a long night. Now, DJ, is that how you expected tonight to go out there, or what was the general expectations?
I was hoping it was going to do like it did in the middle where it went green for a very long time. I do a really good job of saving tires, so I need 30, 40 laps on runs to do anything. And unfortunately, like every week, it seems like we just can't get a good run at the end.
Now, DJ, it seems like that's actually the second week in a row we've been shorted on laps due to the amount of cautions. I mean, what do you think is it that made Dover and a track such as Nashville so tough? And how glad are you we're not going to New Smyrna?
Well, actually, I think we completed it. I think we were 40 seconds to the good. So that's a step up from last week, I guess. New Smyrna, I mean, with these cars, you just can't touch anybody. So running on a track like that, I just don't think it's wise. And, I think we switched to Kentucky, and that's going to maybe hopefully provide better racing. It's a little bit more room, but I don't know. The back of the field's got to tighten up a little bit. That's for sure.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty rough night for a lot of drivers all the way through, but you're able to keep it home. Now, I know the green flag runs, or the lack thereof, kind of hurt you. How the car feel in that? I think it was the middle of the race. We got one fairly good run, and the car looks great. I mean, how did it feel going in for the rest of it? Was you pretty happy during that run, or thinking you could save more tires, or what was the sentiment?
Oh, yeah, I was praying for green flag pit stops because I was kind of managing there. Johnny had me about 2 seconds, and I was just kind of keeping it there just to preserve a little bit. And I know if I can get behind people, I can push them a little harder, but yeah, it's not meant to be right now. Hopefully later in the year we can definitely have some more fun with the green flag pit stops again.
Well, DJ, always a great time talking to you. Congratulations on a podium here today. Before I let you sign off, who would you like to give thanks or a shout out to?
Always my team at Outlaw Racing. Johnny, we work really hard in practice. Zach Roethlisberger, he's really stepping up his game. He's pushing us even harder. And D West, he's just a bad luck guy right now. I wish he stopped being involved in that stuff. They're tearing him up, but we have a strong team, and we're going for that team championship. We want to win it again, and we got some pretty good competition. But thanks to Casey, Kyle, we work really hard with this league, and hopefully we can get it better for people. And thank you for broadcasting every week, man. I know it's not easy, but hopefully we can do a better job for you too.
No worries, man. I greatly appreciate it. Congratulations as always, DJ, and thank you for your time, my friend.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Up next, we've got Zach Rogers in the number 57 machine, putting on quite a show there at the end. Now, Zach, Were you expecting that one more lap to try and make a move, or did you just kind of run out? Did everybody run out of time here today?
No, I heard Scroggins or somebody say on the radio that we only had a minute left, so I was trying to push as much as I can, and I don't know, it just didn't really work out.
Now, Zach, was there really any tire saving to be had here today? We had a couple, maybe one good green flag run. And other than that, it was brief moments of pace, or excuse me, a lot of pacing interrupted by some good racing and short runs. So, did you have time to work on a long run strategy at all, or was it all just short run, staccato, hold it wide open type of strategy?
The first green flag run, we were saving pretty heavy, but other than that, I feel like we were pushing pretty hard and didn't really have to worry about it a whole lot. So I was just kind of focused on staying up front for the most part.
And Zach, I believe this is your highest finish of this season. You had a 10th at Chicagoland, so now putting it back up on second, a huge advancement. Is it the track that you were more comfortable with? Was it a good qualifying, or what led you to be up here on the podium for the first time this season?
I just had really bad luck the first two races. Daytona, I never do, and Dover, I didn't qualify well, so I just got caught up in all that madness. But yeah, I felt well coming off of those races. I wouldn't say I was confident, but I felt decent about my chances of at least running up front. So yeah, I mean, this was a nice finish. This is probably the most upset I've been about a podium, but uh, I would have liked first. I would have liked to finally get that monkey off my back, but I'll take it. It'll help me in points for sure and help the team as well.
Well, keep it up. I mean, great progress and a lot better luck to this point in the season. I hope to see you continue the streak and get up here on the booth more often. Zach, before I let you sign off, who would you like to give a shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors. The floor is yours, my friend.
Just everybody at Mountain Man Motorsports, Bobby Mountain for putting the team together. It's been fun racing with him this first part of the season. He went here tonight, and we were missing Jake Feskinen as well, but they've been fun to race with. Everybody I know watching, Sam, my girlfriend, I think she's watching right now, and yeah, you all for putting on the show.
Well, my pleasure, Zach. Congratulations again on the first podium of the season, and we hope to see you make it many more.
Thanks, buddy.
And up next, the man of the hour, jumping Johnny Eckert. The number 90 machine makes it 3 in a row with a hat trick. Johnny, how are you feeling after that endurance race, the surprise endurance race?
I am exhausted. I am mentally, physically, emotionally, I feel like exhausted. I mean, I felt like the race towards the end in particular was relatively under control, but I knew that if we got a few laps on our tires, that if we went green for a few more than like 2 or 3 laps at a time, that the story was not definitely not written. I mean, I, at the end, Zach really had me on the ropes. That's for sure. I was pulling every trick in the book to try to just keep the preferred line and to not give anything. Because I felt like if I gave an inch, that he was going to be there, and he was willing. And I respect it. We raced really hard, but he raced me really clean. And it's great to race with people like Zach, and I mean Tate for that matter too. I got loose in front of him before his wheel disconnected, and I got loose in front of him out of two like seconds before a caution came out, and he lifted to make sure he didn't wreck me. And I can't I can't thank them enough for racing clean, and considering that this turned into another caution fest. People like them you definitely want to appreciate in those moments. So yeah, uh, I'm beat.
Well, Eckert, I know it's been a long night for everybody. Drivers, race control, everybody I think is exhausted. A great job. You make it 3 in a row here today. A lot of great racing up front. You guys were nice and tight throughout the field. We'll make it a quick night, and we'll let you tell us who was all supporting you this season, and then we're all going to go to bed at a reasonable hour on a Friday night.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, first off, for the league. I apologize to you and to all the fans at home for what's gone on. I mean, generally up front, it's been pretty clean. People, the fast guys have their mulligans and accidents, and get involved in accidents and stuff. But generally, the front half of the field has been fantastic. But I want to, apologize to you guys. But thank you all for supporting the league, and thank you for your broadcasts every week. I mean, you do a fantastic job. I want to thank the admins. I mean, they're pulling their hair out the last few weeks trying to figure out how to make this straighten out, but it's still a relatively new league, and there's been quite a boom of people, and I think there's some tough decisions ahead, and I respect the admins, and thank them for all they do, but I can't go without thanking my teammates. I mean, this week we spent so much time just preparing. No one really had any experience. This is a new track, relatively new track to iRacing, and without like DJ Weeks and Zach Roethlisberger, those two put plenty of laps down, and I did too. And we just preparing for this race, and we learned everything we needed to. I think it was a rough night, but yeah. But I also want to thank Dave Westergreen too, for my other teammate. I felt like he's the one on the team who keeps getting caught into everything. So hopefully his luck turns around. But yeah, I can't thank my teammates enough. Can't thank the league and you, and we'll move on to wherever we're going next week. I have absolutely no idea.
Well, we'll just show
Oh,
up when we
Kentucky.
get there. Practice, we don't need it.
No,
All right.
absolutely not.
Well,
No.
Johnny, thank you as always, man. Congratulations, 3 in a row. Great to see you back up, coming out strong and surviving another night that unfortunately was drawn a little bit short, but well done, man. You earned it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Glad to, my friend. And that, my friends, is going to do it for the All-American ARCA Tennessee 225. We almost made it a full distance, finding ourselves 1 lap short after a whole lot of calamity. I believe it was 11 cautions at the end of the night. But great job to Eckert, Rogers, and Weeks putting in the top 3 spots after a grueling race. As always, on behalf of All-American ARCA Series Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in on Friday night, supporting your favorite drivers, your favorite racer, your favorite league, and possibly even your favorite broadcaster. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everybody.